Hi guys, this is Val from valkayink, and today we are doing a Lupin the Third haul. Yes, I've been teasing this for like a year. I actually made a tweet back in March saying that I wanted to pick up a bunch of Lupin stuff, and I did, and this will be probably the only time where I've picked up everything, watched everything, and then did the haul. So let's get started with something really fun. First up, I've been picking up posters like all year long. I don't know why. I found a couple of really good sellers on Mandarake and eBay. You can get all kinds of different posters, and I found this delightful little set that has not only the most recent entry into Lupin the Third, which is Fujiko Mine's Lie. This is such a beautiful print. I love this art style. This is like the newest thing aside from the 3D movie that's coming out in December. And then along with it came a reprint of this original Monkey Punch artwork for this poster that was for the very first Lupin the Third movie, The Secret of Mamo, aka Lupin versus the Clone. So this little set was really cute. I picked it up for like $2. I just really like having this kind of the beginning stages to what it's eventually turned into. Really fascinating. I know Lupin from the original manga, so this is like, no matter how silly or how strange that art style looks, I'm very fond of it. It's like home to me. Okay, so I was going to use these as the background, but I'm kind of afraid to put all of these DVDs and Blu-rays on these, so we're actually going to move them aside. Hey, part of the Fire Valkyrie is in the background, sorry about that. So, first stack of Lupin DVDs here, and the next stack of Lupin Blu-rays here. This all started back when last year I got into the Castle of Cagliostro because I wanted to go back to Lupin. I was missing it and I wanted to start somewhere. Started here, have a whole video on that, so that's not actually part of this haul. But what we will do is we will start with this DVD stack of goodness. And we're just going to move these to the side, and we're going to start with these two. So these are the first entries into this little Lupin haul. This, of course, is Lupin the Third, the complete first series. This is the series that I know and love. This is the one where I watched episodes way, way long ago. This is Lupin the Third, the complete first series. This was from 1971, and this is a Discotheque Eastern Star release. And it's the Thin Packed series, and I love that it's green because it is Green Jacket series. It's my favorite Lupin. That's what the disc art looks like in this. Very cool. He has this Mercedes. I love that thing. This is 23 episodes and the pilot. So also the pilot is included on this, which I think is really cool. It's really interesting to see like old 1960s and 70s pilots of things because they're just not as clean as earlier pilots, but they have so much like attitude and emotion. I really like this one. So yeah, I love this. I've watched this many times. Actually rewatched it this year. You don't have to own this series. You can watch all of the Lupin series, Green Jacket, Red Jacket, Pink Jacket, 4 and 5 are all for free on Crunchyroll, so don't feel like you have to go out and find this. This was a birthday gift from my dad. He bought me this and begged me to never talk about Lupin with him again. A-okay, Dad, thank you for that. Next up, we do have the very first Lupin the Third movie, and this is The Secret of Mamo. And this is the Pioneer release. This is the release I really wanted because it has a translated theater book. This was actually the little theater book, and they translated into English. And there's just some really great quotes. Like, here's a quote from Monkey Punch himself. Lupin the Third is not a chivalrous thief. He never steals from the rich to give to the poor. He's not cool. He's cold-hearted and stylishly uses the money for himself. For instance, he doesn't mind spending millions of yen just to steal something worth 10,000 yen or so. You may say it is unrealistic, but so what? I'd like you to escape from reality, at least while you are watching Lupin's actions. Even for a little while, if you can get away from such realities as exam hell, debts, traffic nightmares, taxes, and other problems, it was well worth it for Lupin to be born. Lupin is a resident of the Village of Freedom and the Nation of Earth. He has hideouts all over the world, so he may be taking a snooze in the attic right above your bedroom tonight. I love that. I love that kind of irreverence. I love that Monkey Punch just is willing to do anything with his characters, or he was, God rest his soul. But this has all sorts of information about development and everything. It's very, very cool. And this Pioneer set also came with the reversible poster, so you can actually take this out and you get this image. Very cool. I'm not actually going to bother doing that, but hey, you can do that. And then this is the disc. I'm not going to go into too much detail about each of these things because I have a lot to go through. This movie is really interesting, really crazy. You can actually see the paint strokes in the backgrounds. That's how clear the image is on this. And you have some really beautiful color design and some really interesting animation in this. Some of it great, some of it not so great. The ending is bonkers bananas. I could give you 100 tries to guess the ending to this movie if you've never seen it, and I guarantee you won't guess it. So I actually had fun with this. I like this one. So while this was the first movie, and it was done in 1978, it kind of wrapped up right after the end of the Red Jacket series and uses its music a lot. The most interesting thing was this was a big production. It took 15 months to complete this movie. It took over 62,000 cell sheets, and everyone that worked on Green and Red Jacket was brought back on for the movie. So really interesting. I think if you're a super hardcore Lupin fan, this is worth finding. And there's lots of copies of this. For some reason, the market got flooded with lots of copies. So you can always find this on eBay. I picked this one up for $7. I've seen others for around $18. And somewhere just between that, you can always find this one. But I also want to talk about the first OVA, and that would be the OVA Lupin III, The Fuma Conspiracy, or the Japanese title, The Plot of the Fuma Clan. This was done in 1987, my birth year, yay! This is a fantastic, fantastic little movie. I really enjoyed this one. This doesn't come with anything. This is classic discotheque logo, Lupin III. This is an interesting one because it mostly focuses more on Goemon, and this was a shoestring budget production. It was so shoestring that they had to cut out the original cast of the voice actors, and they went with a secondary cast, and it caused a lot of trouble for the voice cast and for Monkey Punch because he was very close with all of them. But what they did do was they took all that money for the budget and put it right into the animation, and this has some amazing sequences. For Lupin specials, I always like to say, you know, my favorite things about Lupin is, first of all, the heist, like what are they doing as a gang? Second of all, the character interactions. You've got 5 very strong characters, and I really like Fujiko in this one. That's always very important, the comedy, the conversations. It's a big thing about Lupin. The other thing that I like are the set pieces, meaning big things that happen, big disguises that happen, big explosions, car chases. One of the best car chases I've ever seen is in this. And then the last thing about Lupin specials is the twist. Lupin is known for having a weird twist at the end, and this has a really good one. I think it's cute. I really like it. If you are a fan of just the gang going bonkers on a treasure hunting expedition, this is worth watching. Okay, moving right along from this OVA, I'm going to talk about the TV specials. There have been many, many, many TV specials, and not all of them have come out here, so I'll tell you what TV special it is as I talk about it. This is Lupin III, The Secret of the Twilight Gemini, and this is the 8th TV special. This was done in 1996, and this is the uncut version. If you find this cover, it's the uncut version. The other title that has the gold brick blocking is the cut version. Weird, weird film. So this one I specifically picked up because the director was Gisaburo Sugi, guys, and he was the director for Night on the Galactic Railroad, which is one of my personal favorites. I love it. Gus is drinking water out of his water bowl. That's what that sound is. But he also did work on like Astro Boy and some other really famous stuff. And he got to direct this one. So I was really looking forward to it. And I think this is a good example of no matter who is directing, working on the animation, working on the music, sound design, you can't save a bad script. Like, this is just not that fun a special. Lupin and everyone in it just feels off character. It does have a few really good set pieces. There's like this really great train chase scene early on in this movie that I really like. There is this really great... Hi, Gus. There is this really great battle at the end where everyone has a weapon and everyone's getting in on it. You like Lupin, Gus? And so, yeah, I enjoyed those parts, but as a whole, you know, the sound, the animation, it's all kind of flat. I don't know why Gus is interested in this. Gus, why don't you take that over there, bud? But that's okay. Like, at least I have it and I like having it. we'll move on to the next TV special that I have, which is Voyage to Danger. Now, there is a Blu-ray of this, and I'll get to the Blu-rays in a minute, but I picked this one up for $11, and Twilight Gemini was $12, and the Fuma Conspiracy was $30, and this is an out-of-print copy, so I got a $30 one that was still wrapped in plastic, so I was really ecstatic about that. I did a lot of eBay digging for this haul. Voyage to Danger. This has a great premise. The premise is that Zenigata is off of Lupin's case and that he's flipping out about it. He actually goes and sees Lupin in the beginning of the movie to drink with him, and that's like my favorite scene. And then the gang decides to help Zenigata with his next case, and that sounds great. I really like that premise. The problem is, instead of getting this amazing story with Zenigata working with everyone, Zenigata's kind of sidelined, and the gang just goes and steals like a nuclear sub to try and get into this weapons dealer that Zenigata is supposed to be going after. Not a bad special, just not my favorite. Like, I wish it had like a little bit more pizzazz. It's actually really slow. Like, the animation just runs really slow, like physically and just plot-wise. But yeah, they do have a Blu-ray version, so if you're out to collect the Blu-rays, you don't have to hunt this Funimation copy down. You can get the Discotheque Blu-ray version of it now. So moving on from this one, this was the 5th TV special. We actually have the 6th one that came out right after it, and this is Dragon of Doom. And I'm trying to remember if it had a Japanese name, but I'm pretty sure it was still Dragon of Doom in Japanese as well. This was probably one of the cheapest ones. I also picked this up for $7. It's a blast. This is what I want out of a Lupin special, honestly. This has everything. It has a great setup. It actually has the old insert. This has some of the best set pieces I've seen in a special. Do you want to see Goemon and a huge bunch of ninjas fight in a kabuki theater? Happens in the first 2 minutes. Do you want to see that fight spill out into the street and buildings get cut down and Lupin and Jigan are jumping off the pieces? That happens in the next 5 minutes. Do you want to see Jigan going ham with a grenade launcher in a car? This movie has it. Do you want to see Zenigata try to take down Lupin and Jigan with a boat full of armed men? This one has it. This has a bunch of crazy stuff. Oh, this came out like from 2003. Look at all this fun stuff. Dragon Ball GT. Yeah, this film actually feels like a long-lost Red Jacket episode, and I think that's why I like it so much. It's a little corny and zany in a couple of places, but I would rather have that than it be boring. This movie is best known for Jigan first wearing that wolf costume that you see in part 5. They're on a costume party on a ship, and he's wearing a very similar one in this TV special. It's very funny. So yeah, confirmed furry, I guess. But this one, there's lots of copies. It's cheap. I don't know why people don't seem to like it. It's one of my personal favorites. I do definitely recommend this. It was directed by Masaharu Okuwaki, I think is his name. He did a bunch of the Pink Jacket episodes, which kind of explains kind of the more, I want to say, expressive art style. He also did a lot of Detective Conan episodes. He also did Hamtaro episodes, so this guy's worked on all sorts of things throughout the time. Very good special. Really enjoyed this. I think this was from 1994 or 95. The back says 95. When I was researching it online, it said it was actually a 94 release. Don't know the truth. I just know it was somewhere around there. Really like this one. Definitely like this one. So after this one comes one of my absolute favorites that I've picked up. This is the 5th film. This is Lupin the Third, Dead or Alive. And I want to say, first of all, before anything else, this title is garbage, this cover is garbage. This movie is so much more interesting than this makes it out to be. I really wish this was called like Lupin the Third Adventure on Drift Island, or Lupin the Third The Zufu Empire, or Lupin the Third Prince Panish. Like, there's a lot of other things that are going on. This is called Dead or Alive because of a literal like 7-minute segment where some assassins are trying to kill him, and they announce that they're gonna take him dead or alive, and then that's it. He moves on to the rest of the plot. This is unique because this is the only film actually directed by Monkey Punch himself, and notoriously, he did not like directing. He said that it was very complicated, he was not good at it, he did view himself as a manga artist, and he should leave animation to animation experts. However, He did get pulled into it because they couldn't get a director in time. This film was only done in 5 months, and the animation in it is stunning. If you like stuff like very Ghost in the Shell, or if you like especially Akira, like that type of animation, that's what this has. I would really put it on those levels. The other really interesting thing about this is the heist, the main story, this like treasure on Drift Island. The whole plot revolves around like this coup that happened in the Zufu Empire, which is like this seaside state. And I found that so interesting, I almost forgot I was watching Lupin. The other great thing about this is it looks the most like the manga characters, so you're back to very handsome Goemon, you're back to like a really skinny, long-faced Jigan. Fujiko's a redhead, and she has a fight scene where she is a female wrestler, so if you're into that, this has that as well. The music is particularly good in this one. I can't recommend this enough. In fact, when I'm done finishing up this haul, I'm probably going to rewatch this and screenshot some stuff. I like it so much. Also, nano machines. So it's got that kind of technology in it. Really enjoyed this. Also, there's a lot of copies of this one, and you can pick this one up. I picked it up for $14, but I found it as low as $10 and $7 after the fact. But yeah, it's generally around $30 if you're looking for it, but you can find it cheaper. Oh my gosh, I said I wasn't going to talk a lot, and now look at me. Anyway, so that was the 5th film. This was done in 1996. We will move on to the 9th TV special. Of course, this one's very famous. This is Lupin the Third Island of Assassins. And I actually like the Japanese name better. It's actually called Lupin the Third in memory of the Walther P38, which is this gun, by the way. That's Lupin's gun, if you're wondering. Jigan uses a Magnum. Yeah, Island of Assassins. If you go online and look up, like, #1 TV special or top 10 TV specials for Lupin, this is at the top of a lot of people's lists. And I found this one to be boring. There's very little interaction between everyone. It's mostly just Lupin, like, on this really lonely, awful island with, you know, some very generic-y kind of bad guys, so I'm not as fond. Also, the twist that's in this one you can see coming a mile away. This is also the one where Zenigata is... Oh my god, that's cute. This is also the one where Zenigata is shot and he's laid up in bed, so he doesn't really do much in the film, and that's kind of a shame. Anyway, here's a bunch of old Funimation stuff that was coming out back then. Look at that, Baki the Grappler! This cracks me up. Anywho, oh wait, I just saw Galaxy Railways, that makes me happy. Anywho, this is really renowned, and my problem with it is it feels more like a gritty 90s OVA than it feels like a Lupin special. It's still definitely Lupin, but it's missing a certain spark to it. I still say it's worth picking up if you are really into Lupin stuff, because it is so, like, well loved. Not my personal favorite. I'm okay being alone in that opinion, but yeah, there that is. Anyway, so that was Lupin the Third, and that was the 9th TV special, 1997. Yes, and it really looks like it too. So moving on from that, last of the DVD specials that I was able to pick up. I didn't pick all of them up, but I will at some point, so there will be a second Lupin haul in the future. But for now, we're going to talk about Crisis in Tokyo, and this box is hilarious because I bought this from a rental store that was going out of business, and they just happened to have this, and it was literally covered in stickers, so much so that you couldn't read which one it was, and it was kind of driving me crazy. I had to peel everything off, and I actually had to take this cover out and peel off stickers. But, yeah. Got it for $12 for a case that you couldn't read. Still very happy that I figured out what it was. Yes, so this is Crisis in Tokyo. I think this is actually called Memories of Flame Crisis in Tokyo, and that has to do with this character. A lot of Lupin specials get an extra character, whether it's a new female or a child or a female and a child that kind of go along with the gang's adventures, and they always get a new villain. So what I really like about this special is that it is mostly a Zenigata special. This one is following Zenigata as he's chasing Lupin. He's working with this reporter, and she will not leave Zenigata alone because he is supposed to be her, like, scoop story. This has one of the craziest car scenes, and you actually get to see the aftermath of, like, hey, Zenigata, you were involved in this 70 car pileup. How do you feel about that? And he's like, not good, actually. Not really proud of that one, honestly. But yeah, this one's also interesting because Fujiko's working with Goemon, and then in the end everyone's working together, so it's kind of interesting how it all comes together. It has a couple of little dark scenes in it, but it mostly revolves around this villain that is collecting DNA, but he's also opening a water park, so you get like the gang hanging out in a water park as well. It sounds crazy, but it actually works. I had fun watching this. I'll probably watch this one again very soon as well. I want to move on from these old Funimation DVD pickups to some Blu-ray stuff, and the first of which is one that I wasn't planning on getting, and it is Lupin the Third, Bye Bye Lady Liberty. The Japanese title is Bye Bye Liberty Close Call, and this one is notorious for, back when it released, a lot of fan-dubbed copies came to the US. I don't know why, there was just like a huge flood of them. So these are the Blu-rays that are coming out from Discotek, and what I love about them is they all have the same spine, where Blu-ray logo, an image, this white bar, the special number, and the year it came out. And lined up on a shelf, they all have that, and I love that. I hope they keep up with that. So this is the very first TV special, and it was done in 1989. This is the end of 80s Lupin. I think this was right after Pink Jacket, third season ended. And this movie is so bananas bonkers bizarre. It is so crazy. What I will suggest is if you're going to do your computer programming and your satanic rituals, maybe don't mix them. There you go. That's what you're getting in this film. The other thing that I really like about these is when you do take them out of the slipcover, you get the old cover as well underneath, and this cover is great because this big bad guy just looks like he's excited to go to IHOP. He's like, nah, pancakes. But there he is. Yeah. I thought I would hate this, and that's why I wasn't going to pick it up, but I found it for $13, which was cheaper than the DVD price, so I did pick it up. This one was also directed by Osamu Dezaki, who did a lot of the other specials that I don't have right here. He was a director in Ashita no Joe, so there you go, that's some info for you. And if you want your cover to match your slip art, it's on the back. So here is this one, and it still has the old gold block print on the disc. Yeah, I thought I was going to hate this because Pink Jacket really isn't my jam. I like it a lot for various reasons, but it's not my favorite. This, as crazy and as insane as it was, it's really funny. Like, I was actually laughing at a lot of parts of it. There's some really interesting set pieces. Like, if you want to see the gang steal the Statue of Liberty, this is the one. If you want to see them hanging out in New Orleans listening to jazz music, this is it. If you want to see them do some damage in a giant computer room that looks like the Galaxy Express 39 engine room, this has it. Oh, it also has some really great car scene chases. Like, this has a chase in the desert that is beautifully animated. So yeah, didn't think I'd like this, ended up really liking it. I'll watch this one again soon too. Anyway, moving on from this one, we have a more modern Blu-ray, and that is Lupin the Third, Blood Seal of the Eternal Mermaid, which is actually the Japanese title as well, I believe. And again, same deal. This is special number 22, and it was done in 2011. This was the very last Lupin special to happen before a woman called Fujiko Mine. So yeah, this one has really cute character design. They're all kind of really soft and almost Ghibli looking. Like, it's an interesting look for the gang. This has some stellar animation in it. I think the story is fine. It gets surprisingly dark for how cute everyone looks. There's some real, like, cringy blood stuff in this, so just FYI, I want to let people know that. I picked this one up for $25 on sale somewhere, I think. Yeah, this is very interesting. This was done, directed by Teiichi Takiguchi, I believe, and he did stuff like The Cat Returns and Pompoko. He's also done recent, like, animation work in Demon Slayer. So, yeah, very interesting. This also has a really cool, like, long poster on the other side they decided to include. And disc art. I ended up liking this one. It's not like my personal favorite, but there is some really cool like animation where the camera pans around. There's some really cool lighting and color design in this. The kid character is actually quite fun in this one. And there's a very interesting twist in the end. This is also the one where Lupin's like getting philosophical and wondering why he's a thief. So if you want like a quieter take on Lupin, this has it. Yeah, it's a good one. I can see why people like this one so much. A lot of the old voice actors were also brought in for this one. I'll fix that later. Anyway, that was the 22nd TV special, I believe, 22nd, 23rd. But we will move on. I don't have the set here, but I recently watched Woman Called Fujiko Mine, and I don't know where my set went. It went somewhere over there. But yeah, I'll do a separate video on that. I love that. But that's what led me to these. My last two in this haul. Anyway, I do recommend Woman Called Fujiko Mine. These are OVAs that are kind of based off that world. This is a darker take on Lupin, and I really love it. It's Takeshi Koike, or Koike? I can't remember how his name is pronounced. The director of Redline, he's the character designer, and then he's the director for these specials. These are considered continuation spin-offs, that's how they're listed. And Jigon's Gravestone came out in 2014, and I wanted to watch it back then and never got around to it. Finally got it. I love this case. I love the April 1st died, rest in peace. Yeah, this is fantastic. I really like this special. I also really like the alternate art. This was the Japanese art that they included in here. And then here is the disc art. By the way, this costume that Jigon is wearing in this, in his initial designs in the original manga, he was wearing this. It wasn't until later chapters that he got a more streamlined design. He actually used to wear this big hat with this like alligator pattern in it. So what's interesting is after watching a bunch of the specials and coming back to these, I've noticed that Takeshi, wait, is that his name? Whatever his name is. I noticed that he picked up a lot of small things and included it. So just certain names, certain actions that the characters do, they're in reference to some old specials and some of the old manga chapters, which I think is pretty great. Yeah, so this is the one where Jigon has to square off against an assassin. This is the kind of special that I like to call failed assassination plotline, where they're being targeted by Yale, or Uriel? I can't remember his name. But yeah, this one, a lot of people online don't like this one. Personally, I really like it. It has a very goth cowboy aesthetic to it, and I like that every piece of this comes together in the end, and it all kind of is one solid unit, story-wise. So, this one's really fun, really like it. And then, the last thing I watched both of these on Halloween, by the way. That was like my fun night. Yeah, then we have Goemon's Blood Spray, and this is another one that I absolutely love. This is a Goemon special, and his villain is named Hawk, and this one is a lot more like, I want to call it like an old, I don't know, Gus is flipping out. I want to call it like an old samurai special, and it's all about Goemon trying to beat Hawk. Anyway, this one is fantastic. A lot of people have done reviews on it. Some people don't like it, but man, I really love it. I'm going to be watching these two again very soon.